All right, team, welcome back to TNT Digital Mindset. Today, I'm really excited to dive into some cutting-edge stuff. I've been poring over the latest research on digital trends, and honestly, it's fascinating. I've even leveraged some advanced AI, yeah, you heard that right, to break down the core insights. This way, we can get straight to the actionable strategy. So without further ado, let's jump in.
Welcome back to TNT Digital Mindset. We've analyzed the latest data on the future of longevity science to help you sharpen your strategic thinking.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. For years, we've been sold this story, right? The idea that we'll find one magic pill, a single discovery that just rolls back the clock on aging. But that whole way of thinking is exactly why so much of this feels like hype. The real breakthrough? It isn't a pill. It's a completely new kind of machine.
So this is the fundamental shift you have to understand. The old way was completely reactive. We had to wait for a disease, like cancer or heart failure, to actually show up. Then we'd run these decade-long billion-dollar trials. It's kind of like trying to drive a car by only looking in the rearview mirror. The new way, it's proactive. It's about predicting decline, getting feedback in months, not decades, and learning as you go. It's an engine, not a lottery ticket. To really get why this new engine is such a game changer, we first have to unpack why that old model was basically doomed from the start. You see, the whole idea of a single cure for aging just completely misunderstands what aging even is. And this, right here, is why. Aging isn't one thing. It's this messy, complicated, interconnected web of failures all happening at once. Think of it as a map of everything that can break down in the system. Trying to fix all of that with one pill? It's like trying to repair a car's failing engine, bad transmission, and flat tire with just a single wrench. It's not going to work. But the real killer of progress, the true bottleneck, was just time. The feedback loop was impossibly long. I mean, imagine you're learning to code, but you only get to run your program once every 10 years to see if it works. You'd never get anywhere, right? Well, that was longevity science. The path from a good idea to actual proof was so long and so expensive that most ideas just died on the vine. Okay, so that was the past. Let's talk about where we're going, because this is where AI completely changes the physics of the problem. We're moving out of the era of one-off discoveries and into an age of industrial-scale compounding progress.
This is the core concept. The innovation isn't a drug, it's a system, a closed loop that constantly learns and improves on itself. It measures your biology, turns that into data, uses that data to design new interventions, and then tests them, feeding the results right back into the system. It's a learning machine for human health.
So, a learning factory sounds great, but how does it actually work? Well, it really breaks down into three distinct, really powerful stages.
First, you have to be able to measure the problem in real time. Second, you use AI to design potential solutions. And third, you validate those solutions on a radically faster timeline. Measure, design, validate. Let's break down each one.
The first piece of the puzzle is measurement. For the first time ever, we can pretty much read biological aging like it's a vital sign. These AI models, they're called aging clocks, can look at biomarkers in your body and actually estimate your personal pace of aging. Now, here at TNT Digital Mindset, we know there's healthy scientific debate on their accuracy, but the breakthrough is just having a fast, measurable signal at all. You can finally see if something is actually bending the curve. Okay, so once you can measure the problem, you need to design a solution. And this is where we shift from just reading biology to actually writing biology. Generative AI models, you've probably heard of AlphaFold 3, can now design entirely new molecules from scratch, specifically tailored to hit those hallmarks of aging we talked about. It's a huge leap from discovery to design.
And the final step, validation, is what closes the loop. This is about taking all those AI-designed ideas and testing them at super high speed using automated labs and smarter clinical trials. This is what shortens the cycle from a decade to potentially just months. This is exactly the kind of systems-level thinking we champion here at TNT Digital Mindset. It's not about one shiny part. It's about how the whole engine works together.
So, the loop exists. It's an elegant, powerful concept. But, having a blueprint for a factory isn't the same as actually having a factory. So now we've got to talk about the really hard part, scaling it.
And scaling this thing runs into three huge gates where it could all fall apart. First, measurement trust. If your aging clock is garbage, you're just optimizing for noise. Second, data governance. How do we ethically and equitably link all this deep biological data? And third, clinical throughput. I mean, AI can spit out a million ideas, but if your physical labs can only test 10, you have a backlog, not a breakthrough.
And this is the crucial takeaway for anyone thinking strategically about this space. The challenge isn't really about building smarter AI anymore. The new bottleneck is shifting from intelligence to infrastructure. We have the brains. What we desperately need are the roads, the pipes, and the factories to put that intelligence to work.
And this poses a massive question, which is also a massive opportunity. The system is designed, but who is actually going to build the biobanks, the automated labs, the standardized data frameworks needed to make this loop run for everyone all around the world? This is the next great infrastructure challenge. So let's fast forward. Let's say we do solve these scaling problems. What does that actually look like for us? What does adding years really mean? It's time to redefine the goal and move away from the science fiction and towards something much more valuable.
Let's be really clear. The realistic outcome here is not immortality. It's not about living forever. It's about something called health span. The real goal is to compress that period of chronic disease, that long, slow decline, into a much shorter window at the very end of life.
The added years we're talking about come from preventing all those small, irreversible collapses that steal our function over time. It's about having more resilience, more strength, and more high-quality functional time in the middle of your life, the time where you're actually out there living it. That's the real prize.
And this brings us right back to the central idea. This isn't about some single, splashy headline in 2026. The real breakthrough is a new standard of evidence, a new pace of discovery, a whole new system for making progress. It's the industrialization of longevity science itself.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? We have the capability to build this incredibly powerful loop. But can we build the trust, the discipline, and the infrastructure it requires before the hype machine runs away with it and turns it into just another cycle of empty promises? That's the race we're in right now. If you want to master the digital economy, make sure to subscribe to TNT Digital Mindset.
Thanks for listening.